Blue Lock community is one of crazy hot takes and ridiculous claims. Some people try to argue that Isagi is simply mid, some say that the new Gen 11s are actually dog shit, and others try to say that Shido is outerversal. Okay, that last one's not really a take because it is true. But the bottom line is that the Blue Lock community is full of the craziest takes you'll ever hear. But as of now, one hypothetical has expanded upon social media, one so stupid yet interesting, one so simple yet complex, that has left everyone puzzled. 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Now, honestly, I thought the answer was pretty simple. It's the 100 guys. And while I could make a video to debate this, I thought I could turn it into something funnier instead. So for this video, I'm not just gonna grab 100 guys. I believe I could create a team with only 10 Blue Lock characters who could take down that gorilla. Now, I believe I constructed a pretty damn good team. However, I'm not the only one who made this kind of video. Raven and I decided to post this video at the exact same time with our own teams, so you guys can check out his video and decide which of our teams is better. Before we get into my team though, like in all of my videos, spoilers for the latest chapters of the Blue Lock manga, and if you're not caught up to the latest chapters of the story, click off this video now. And also, join my Discord server called the RavinGeeks. The link to it is down below. Now before I explain my strategy, let's go over the rules for this team building. Rule number 1, pretty obvious here, but 10 Blue Lock characters must be chosen. I also can't use anyone who is currently speculated or not revealed yet like Messi or Ronaldo because they were simply in a flashback. That stuff doesn't count. Only current prominent characters who have an active role in the story and interact with our players are allowed. Rule number 2, a maximum of 2 adults or current professional players. This is to ensure that our team is not just all the adults because that wouldn't be very much fun. I think Raven forgot about this rule, so if you did, consider that when you're making your decision about which team is better. And rule number 3. Each player must have a strategy and a role. Since Blue Lock is a psychology-based manga and planning and thinking is very important and highlighted in the story, I need to have a strategy in mind and plans for my picks going in to fight this gorilla. But now that you've heard the rules of this hypothetical, let's get into my strategy. When constructing my team and picking my players, I'm going to be picking them in regards to 3 main categories. The first is known as powerhouses. These characters are going to be my main line of strength, making full contact with that gorilla, using their strength to overwhelm him and dish out as much damage as possible. The second category will be the auxiliary players. These players will not be used to directly confront the gorilla entirely, but rather use their unique attributes to assist the powerhouses in dealing with the gorilla directly. And the final category will be the handlers. The handlers will deal with the core assistance in prepping for the game against the gorillas, but also act in a managerial capacity, inspiring the others from a purely assisting role. Now when it comes to each of these characters, they will have the wiggle room to each act in the powerhouse role, meaning they can make direct contact with the gorilla, but that will only be a secondary purpose. But without further ado, let's get into my picks. My first pick is pretty obvious to anyone who knows anything about this character but also saw the thumbnail, that being Gin Gagamaru. Now many people may be confused as to why Gagamaru is my first pick, for anyone who doesn't know anything about his character from the Egoist Bible. Gagamaru in the anime is this very airheaded like character who lacks basic mannerisms when it relates to etiquette, but overall is a crazy threat on the pitch. During the first selection, Gagamaru actively takes insanely risky or wild plays, such as constant diving headers and scorpion kicks. But he also possesses incredible jumping height, which allows for him to reach very high places. Considering the fact that he is also 6'3", making him on the taller end of the Blue Lock characters, he definitely has an imposing presence, but an overall lack of flair. During season 2 of the anime, we saw a change to the positioning for Gagamaru, switching from a forward to a goalkeeper, where it was his performances holding players like Sendo and Shido at a standstill when it really mattered. Moves like the rapid intuition Gagamaru punch and the Shachihoko fish kick just show his incredible reflexive ability and balance when it comes to his body. Now obviously just from this and what we've seen are not enough to justify him being my first pick. More light shines upon him though when we talk about his Egoist Bible entry. According to the Egoist Bible, the official and canonical character book, when we look at Gagamaru's hobbies, it states that he actually likes to fight bears and wrestle boars. What? This guy actively fights with bears and wrestles boars. Which, considering the fact that bears themselves are most definitely a more dangerous threat than a gorilla, just shows that Gagamaru knows what's up. I've heard some people try to argue that him fighting these boars and bears aren't credible feats since they are likely his friends. May I remind you that Gagamaru isn't fucking Snow White and can't just bewitch an entire forest with his glamorous charms. Not to mention he also has a scar on his ear, which according to an Egoist Bible entry, was given to him through a fight with a bear. So at one point Gagamaru was either able to compete with a bear in a friendly scuffle, to which the bear went serious and cut him, or he got the cut when fighting the bear and forced it to become his friend through submission. Whatever logic you want to use, Gagamaru is an easy pick for this team. He would obviously be a member of the powerhouse squad, leading the the charge against the gorilla. With his incredible reflexes, I'm expecting him to be able to use it to, like, dodge and weave the gorilla swings, since we saw him reflexively dive to block range shot as it legitimately almost went in the net. So for Gakamaru, he is going to be leading the charge as the grappler and core powerhouse of the team. My second pick is the first adult member coming from the World 5 team, that being Dada Silva. Dada Silva is a character that we don't know too much about, but from what we've seen him do, he's an easy pick for this team. During the game against Isagi's team, Dada Silva was matched up against Aryu, to which we saw him surpass Aryu in not only jumping height, but physical dominance. While that's the majority of what we've seen him do in the anime, the manga delves deeper into Dada Silva's skills. We see him not only completely surpass Aryu's jumping height again, but his running power allowed for him to easily overpower him for a second time, leading to a goal being scored. And coming from the fact that Aryu himself is 6'5", and Dada Silva is still beating him in aerial combat, Dada Silva is like a massive cannonball when he gets in motion. During the game against Nagi's team though, we see Dada Silva match up against Burū, where he tanks a full power charge from Burū without moving an inch, to then mock Burū and his strength. The fact that he wasn't even able to budge a single inch off of Burū's tackle just shows how much of a powerhouse this guy actually is. Dada Silva will be placed on the powerhouse team as the main tank, being used as someone to hold the gorilla in place while everyone else lands punches. And if the gorilla does manage to get a hit on him, he's definitely not going down after a single strike. Now for my next pick, it is a little bit out there, but for my third pick, I'm taking Chigiri Hyoma. Despite Chigiri being my favorite character, this pick is not based off of bias. I would actually have preferred Loki over Chigiri, but considering Loki would have to be in the same category as the other adults, I'd rather not burn my second adult pick on Loki. But as you can probably tell by this correlation, Chigiri is going to be picked for his speed. Chigiri's incredible speed allows for him to move effortlessly across the pitch, using his speed in both goal scoring capacities and assisting ones. And for this matchup, he will definitely be in an assisting role. Using his speed, Chigiri would run around drawing the attention of the gorilla, allowing for an opening for my other picks to occur while he runs around. During the match against Team V, Chigiri was able to run 50 meters in 5.77 seconds, and not only was that not his top speed, only fast enough to beat Zantetsu, but after his training in the NEL, Chigiri's speed was considered to be of world-class caliber, confirming an increase in that area. With his speed, he would mark himself as the first member of the auxiliary team, using his speed as bait to give my other players an opening. But also, since he is one of the more feminine looking characters in the Blue Lock roster, maybe the gorilla will be more distracted by his charms. But his main goal is to use his speed to distract the gorilla. Everything else is just a bonus. Now for my next pick, it is one of beauty and grace but anger and malice, that being Michael Kaiser. Kaiser is here for an obvious reason, because of the Kaiser impact. Kaiser is regarded for having the fastest swing and fastest shot in the series, using it to decimate teams with its incredible power and speed. But even without ball in possession, Kaiser can do some serious damage. During his backstory, a malnourished Kaiser was able to defeat on panel 4 police officers and his father, all while dodging gunfire. Kaiser is 100% kicking ass in this matchup with the gorilla as a member of the powerhouse team. I'd also like to see him paired with Dada Silva, being able to land more powerful kicks in more vital areas because of the gorilla's restrainment. Plus, with his application of Predator Eye, he'll be able to view over the gorilla and find the best spot to kick, leading to more damage being delivered. But there is also another reason for this pick. During chapter 290 of the manga, Kaiser uses the Kaiser impact on defense, balancing himself against Rain's tackle, setting the ball upfield for the final counterattack. If Kaiser were to go up against the gorilla, it's likely that he would win, considering that his backstory is much sadder than the gorilla's and automatically gives him an advantage. So this blonde and blue-haired, blue rose tattooed, malice-filled individual is beating a gorilla because he has daddy issues? Yeah, sounds about right. But for my fifth pick, and a very similar reason to Kaiser, I'm taking Shido Ryusei. Shido is just an all-round good pick for any kind of fighting situation. He's a naturally aggressive individual with incredible aerial balance and physicality, which he uses to score goals that many cannot even dream of. But in regards to how he acts, Shido has actively tried to square up with Isagi, he has fought Rain and injured him on several occasions, and he has even tried to fight Aiku during a U20 conference. Shido just actively loves to fight people. My main reason for picking him as a member of the powerhouse team though, is due to his incredible control in the air. Assuming the gorilla tries to pick up Shido by the leg, Shido is going to land at least 1 or 2 more hits before he gets slammed to the ground. So in a situation where the gorilla tries to slam people into the ground like he's fucking Hulk from the Avengers movies, Shido's 100% got this. Before getting into my other 5 picks though, if you are enjoying this very comedic video so far, leave me a like and subscribe down below to see more very stupid content just like this. It costs absolutely nothing and it helps me immensely. And if you want to help me even more, if you were to become a member of the channel, you would earn some awesome benefits like personal video requests and shoutouts in videos, but you would also get your name mentioned in the Blue Lock New World movie as a contributor to the project, and this also applies to super chatting. So like, subscribe, and become a member to show your support for my content in the future. Now for my next pick, it is someone who may not get along with Shido, that being Rensuke Kunigami. Now Kunigami's purpose is going to be very similar to that of Silva. He's going to be a secondary tank and a restrainer. When we see Kunigami in the second selection, he managed to easily block 2 strikes from Shido with no issue, showing his incredible durability. And during the PXG game, Kunigami was able to put Shido on lockdown for 20 chapters straight. And thanks to the wild card, his strength also improved, shown with him benching around 400 plus pounds with ease in chapter 208. So Kunigami would share a role to Silva, locking down that gorilla for my other members to deal serious damage. He may not like to play the role of the hero anymore, but Kunigami is really gonna have to suck it up here. Oh yeah, and he would also be a member of the Powerhouse team along with the other members. Now for my 7th pick, I'm adding another member to my auxiliary team, which is going to be a weird choice, but I'm taking Aoshi Tokimitsu. I'm sure you're already asking, why is Tokimitsu not on the front lines? I mean, he has the power to compete with the other guys, so why isn't he up there? Well, considering the fact that Tokimitsu likely wouldn't go anywhere near that gorilla, he does have a secondary purpose. In the second season of the anime, an additional time was shown where Yukimiya and Nagi were talking about who everyone would be as an animal, and Nagi said that Tokimitsu would be a female gorilla. I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. Tokimitsu would use himself and his naturally female gorilla appearance to draw the attention of the gorilla, same as Chigiri, to allow for the other guys to land critical hits. If it does come down to it, he would be pushed to the front lines as a tank to help restrain the gorilla, but his entire main purpose is simply sex appeal. I know, it's horrible, but if it works, and that's what we want. Now I'm sure you've realized that I haven't added a single member to my handler team. Well, that starts right now, because for my 8th pick, I'm taking Otoya. Now, honestly, I consider Otoya to be a sleeper pick in this matchup. Considering Otoya's philosophy is about being cool and calm in most situations, in a similar way to Karasu, his cool-headedness will be essential for maintaining mental stability amongst the team. But Otoya has one other main purpose: to blind that fucking gorilla. Otoya's strength is in his blind spot extortion and swift movements, allowing him the ability to weave around players on the pitch as if he were a shadow. Otoya is going to use those shadow steps to slip into the gorilla's blind spot and blind it from behind, poking its eyes out. Now, will this likely lead to Otoya getting his ass beat? Yeah, probably. But assuming the powerhouses can buy some time for Otoya, it will likely only take a few seconds to seal the fate of this matchup. If Otoya can blind the gorilla, then my team simply needs to wait and force an opening. That way players like Gagamato and Kaiser, and even Shido, can deal some serious damage to him. This role is essential for my team winning, so I need Otoya to lock in and blind that fucking gorilla. But for my 9th pick, I'm also taking my second adult pick. I'm going to be taking someone who is going to be essential for this matchup, that being Chris Prince. Now, Chris Prince is my second adult pick because he is perfect in both situations of prep time versus no prep time. Assuming the Blue Lockers are allowed prep time, Chris Prince can treat them all like the Manshine City team and develop a golden formula to maximize their strength for taking on this gorilla. His incredible knowledge of human anatomy would make him a great trainer when it comes to prepping. But assuming no prep time is given, he is still an incredibly strong asset when it relates to taking on that gorilla, as he is incredibly strong, having all 100s in his physical stats, shown in chapter 170. So Chris Prince will either be tasked with training the Blue Lockers to maximize their strength as a handler, or locking down that gorilla as a powerhouse. Now before getting into my final pick, let's talk about some honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Adam Blake. Adam Blake is incredibly strong, being a player who could easily overpower Tokimitsu, as shown in the World 5 game against Isagi's team. He would be an excellent pick for the Powerhouse team, but overall, I think my other 2 adult picks are just simply better options. Another good choice is Burū Rokku. Burū is incredibly powerful when it relates to strength, has excellent charging power, and also wields Predator, allowing for him to have a similar benefit to Kaiser. However, I don't think Burū would be strong enough to be a powerhouse, or be as effective as my other core attackers on the damage dealing side. Now this next pick is honestly another sleeper pick, but I would say that Kiora Jin is another good honorable mention. Kiora is a grounder specialist, which allows him to control his body no matter his positioning, from standing up to laying on the ground. His skilled balance when it relates to his breakdancing also grants him the benefit of being on the bottom half for attacking options. Kiora could use his small stature to sneak outside the gorilla's eyeline and just start beating up his nuts, causing the gorilla to get distracted or cause more severe punches to be landed. But I'm not so sure if the gorilla would get more pissed off if he got punched in the nuts, so this is kind of like a a double-edged sword here. Another adult pick that would be good is Mark Snuffy. Snuffy is the best overall player that we've seen in the series, with incredible control over his body and balance. His utilization of metavision is also a great asset during this matchup, allowing him to be overseeing the entire fight. Snuffy himself is also skilled in Jiu-Jitsu and is a black belt, making him an already skilled fighter. He could also create numerous strategies for his team to utilize, but that's what I've already done, so there's no need for that. But in the case that I'm not creating the strategies, it also comes down to prep time versus no prep time, because Snuffy would be forced to create a strategy on the fly. But honestly, if you want Snuffy on your team, he is not a bad option. Another solid pick, like I mentioned earlier, is Julian Loki. Loki's speed gaps Shigity in relation to its effectiveness, blowing past the Blue Lockers in the World 5 games and the NEL respectively. However, I feel like his speed isn't justifiable enough to take him over any other adult, so I would take Shigity over Loki for this situation. Another good pick is Raichi Jingo. Raichi has nearly bottomless stamina, so he's 100% outlasting that gorilla when it relates to energy. But I don't think that Raichi has the strength that the other guys do in order to be used as a secure pick, so I would just consider him to be a very good honorable mention. And the last honorable mention that I have is Karasu Tabito. Karasu is just a mini Snuffy in pretty much every regard. Their tactical thinking, body balance, and use of metavision allow for them to control the field. But I do think that my final pick is better than Karasu here. Because for my final pick, I have Oliver Aiku. I've selected Aiku as my final pick simply because of his captain mentality. Aiku's greatest asset in this fight would be his ability to coach and command as a captain. He managed to do so all of the U20 game for the Japan team, but also as a player that even Baro takes orders from. Aiku will be commanding this team, using his metavision to view over everything and decide when things should be sent into motion, such as Otoya's blinding or Kaiser kicking the gorilla's weak points. And because he is genuinely strong, he can involve himself in these attacks if needed. I think having Aiku on the team is definitely a good placement instead of Snuffy, since Snuffy does use up an adult slot, and my other two adult picks are just too key for this fight. And those were just my picks for my 10 blue lockers who I believe could take down this gorilla. Now this video was just for fun and laughs and is not supposed to be taken seriously. I saw the memes and I thought it would be a very funny video to talk about. But aside from that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and will continue to enjoy it in the future. If you liked my video, go check out Ravens and review his team to see which of ours is better. And let us know your teams of who you think could take down this gorilla in my comment section. And also, thank you so much to the members of the channel who continue to help support me and my content. And if you wish to earn some awesome benefits like they do, and even get your name mentioned in the Blue Lock New World movie, become a member yourself and help support me moving forward. And as a final reminder, you guys should join my Discord server if you're ever interested in getting any more involved with our amazing community. As for the question of the video though, between me and Raven, whose team is better for taking down that gorilla? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comment section. And like always, thank you all for watching, like and subscribe to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this.